Greetings, I'm Moshe Daniel, and I'd like to talk to you about a problem that I see increasingly in many places amongst many people who are embracing the new age, embracing the light, embracing healing and consciousness. And I call it the positive plague. And it's related to a problem that has arisen from the fact that for centuries, for thousands of years, the male energy has ruled and dominated this world, has controlled this world. And as a response, as a reaction to that, as the female rises up, it is equally becoming unbalanced in an extreme way as a sort of counter balance to the male energy and how it has controlled. So what has emerged now is a problem that has arisen by having too much positive, too much female energy. Now the reason why I call the female energy the positive comes from my understanding of Kabbalah. If we take a look at the tree of life, there are two columns. The right column is the feminine column. If we look at the energies of Chokhmah, of Chesed, and of Netzach, Chokhmah is the energy of wisdom and intuition, receiving. Receiving is female in nature. Chesed is the energy of compassion, of feeling the other person and being aware of their pain and understanding them from their perspective. And Netzach is an energy of humility, a statement that I am of myself nothing. Now, traditional Kabbalah views the right column as being the male and the left column as being the female. But I don't believe that's true. And in my book, the last 4 books of Moses, book 1, called The Letting Go of Free Will, I explain how the male energy, how it's ruled and dominated. It was the rabbi that for thousands of years was the authority on the truth. And the woman was not responsible for the truth. She was responsible for taking care of the house and nurturing. But the truth was the authority of the rabbi. And the rabbi knew that the right column in the tree of life was the source of the truth, where the truth came from. It emanated from the universe and it was received through the right column. And so the rabbi, believing himself to be the authority, said, oh, the male energy must be the right column. So I don't agree with that. I believe the right column is definitely female. And when I ask people that don't know anything about Kabbalah, which is female, which is male, after describing the right column and the left column, everybody says the right column is female, and I agree with them, they're right. Now the left column, Binah, has to do with understanding and logic. The energy of Gevura has to do with setting boundaries and being strong. It's a strength to set boundaries, to stand up for something. And the energy of Hod on the left column has to do with acknowledging one's greatness. Hod, I am something. Where the female says, I am myself nothing, it's a great humility in the great picture of creation. The left column is more defined, and it's saying, I am something. So, when we look at the tree of knowledge in this context, in the way I share in the Kabbalah that I write about and that I teach, the tree of knowledge is the same as the tree of life, but the column is split in between them, so there's no harmony flowing between the female and the male. And as a result of that, when the female is blocked off from the male, then we have two separate energies operating in duality from each other. So instead of having Chokhmah, the wisdom and the intuition coming through our third eye, recognizing the truth, and then the dawning of understanding coming within that, receiving the truth, intuition, the understanding that comes from that inherently, when it's cut, then we have these two energies operating individually. And this energy, the energy of Binah, which is not in touch with Chokhmah, is isolated from the source of the truth. So it attempts to control and say, no, the truth that I have, that I possess, that is the truth. That is the truth. And you don't understand the truth. And it suppresses anybody else that doesn't share the same truth. So that is the unbalanced negative. And the unbalanced positive in response to that says, no, everybody's truth is the truth. That's your truth, that's my truth, and it's all good. It's all correct. It's all right. It lacks, this unbalanced positive energy as actually lacking the boundary setting and the logic or the definition setting that comes with the male energy to bring a balance of truth, so that, for instance, where we could arrive at a more balanced place is for me to say, I am experiencing something that I see as the truth. I feel this is the truth. I believe it's universal. And I don't agree with you. Now, it doesn't mean I'm going to, summon up an army and try to kill you because you don't agree with me. But I can set a balance between recognizing the truth I feel and even discussing with you, even arguing with you, arguing with people, to arrive at a universal truth. Now, no one should, one of the things that we have to always have as an option is to agree to disagree, which I think is, it's getting there. However, I do believe that eventually all people will arrive at the universal truth, and we will share it universally because we all come from the source of the truth, and by truth I mean God, and by God I mean love. And love, God, and the truth, I feel, can be used simultaneously as the same energy, the same thing. So I believe we all will arrive at that universal truth. And in order to do so, we do have to establish what our differences are and see what our differences are and see, are those differences just as a result of different definitions? For instance, Allah and Yahweh, or the Christ, or the Tao, or Buddha, whatever it is. What are those differences? Are they just definitions and inherently they share the same essence? Or are they things within our different ideas of the truth that don't reconcile, that don't arrive at a harmony, and that are literally, there's a schism between them so that they don't coexist together? So the male energy, when it's not with the female, when it doesn't have the compassion and the acceptance and the allowance for all expressions of the truth, it will try to dominate and rule the world. Because the male energy, one of the astrologically, alchemically, one of the energies that rules the male is Mars. And Mars is the god of war. And the god of war wants to dominate the planet and be number one. That's the competitive nature of Mars. And this is lacking in love, because when Mars is separated from Venus, then we don't have love. We have war, we have competition, we have destruction. And this is why the female energy has reacted inside of all of us, and inside of those of us who are wishing to achieve a balance. We're going through, in the positive plague, a reaction to this male controlling energy, and so swinging too far of the pendulum towards the right column, towards the female, where the male is now being suppressed in response to how the male has tried to dominate and rule over the female. As it's stated in the Old Testament, that the craving of the woman shall be for the man, and he will rule over her. Now, that was a prediction for things to come, when in duality there was a separation between the male and the female. The male's tendency is to rule over. Now, when I say male and female, I'm talking about each and every one of us. We're all male and female. Alchemy teaches this. The traditional Chinese medicine, the Taoism, with the symbol of yin and yang, Kabbalah teaches this. We are all male and female. We are created in the image and likeness of the Creator. Male and female, that is said in the Old Testament. That's how we were created. Now, I'm talking about religion now. The unbalanced positive, what it tends to do is it says religion controls, and therefore we have to throw out all religion. So what I'm taking is an element that has come from religion. In the Old Testament, for instance, I'm using the model of Adam and Eve as a model of truth. But I am not religiously bound to the different laws of religion that control and take away a person's freedom. That is the male ruling over the inherent essence of God within me, that I can know the truth within myself. But myself being balanced, I could use the element that lives inside of religion that works, that is the part of true religion that has come from the masters, and I can discern those elements that I feel are not of the truth. So I don't need to throw out all of religion. And those who are very unbalanced positive, unbalanced feminine, they don't have the masculine discernment and balance, they'll say, oh, you just